day. And all your bad dreams drift away. It's a blue.
And welcome back to episode 5 of Anonymous Animators. As usual, I'm your host, Wesley Boone, and this is the next episode, episode 5, recorded on September the 12th. My current guest is Regan Greenwood.
Hello.
She's a friend of mine from also Van Art School, class 2D5. We work together on a show currently called Pirates Express. She comes from Ashcroft, Canada, and she is here to tell you a little bit about herself. Hi, Regan.
Hello. How are you today, Wesley?
Yeah, this is very, very formal, serious business,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still getting into the swing of things as a podcaster, so you'll have to excuse my abrupt nature. But yes, Regan, I'm sure why anybody's listening to this, they want to know about you.
Okay.
So tell us about you. Why did you become an animator?
Well, when I was a kid, I loved drawing, and it's just kind of the same story you hear a lot. Love drawing, want to do art of some sort. When I was a kid, I loved movies, like most children, and we would have most of the Disney VHS tapes. And I remember one day, it was probably Bambi or something, I don't remember which film it was offhand, but I'm just watching the movie, and I remember it clicking, oh, right, someone must be getting paid for this. This is a job.
As a kid, like, oh, there's money involved.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was pretty
There's
pretty
an
good
economy
about that.
around this.
Yeah, at age 11,
yes.
so. So, yeah, that was the starting point, and after that, it was just, I kept drawing, and I kept working to get better at it, and I mean, I'm still a long ways off from where I'd like to be, but I was able to get into school and finish a program and a half, and now I'm working, so I mean, it worked out pretty well. Okay,
so, like throughout sort of you growing up, is there any, like, is it just like, okay, cartoon, now I want to be an animator, or weren't there like different paths that you also decided to maybe change but sort of kept on leading back to becoming an animator?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, for a little bit I thought about being a vet, but at the time the thought of cutting open animals as well as being anywhere near needles just made that a no-go.
You don't like needles?
Oh, I hate needles so much.
One of my sisters is also the same. She wanted to also look after pets, but couldn't bring herself to euthanize or.
Yeah. I don't want that responsibility. I think I could probably deal with it better now, but when you're like 12 and it's like, okay, you have to kill Fido. It's like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of the path that I was thinking besides animation, but when I got into high school, it just more and more became, no, I'm just going to go for animation. This is really what I want to do. And I started doing research, figured out it was a job. Yeah, it's a hard job to get into, but it's still a job, and it still requires workers. So it's pretty much all or nothing. I guess by the end of my grade 12 year, they still wanted you to have a backup plan when you do your exit interview. So my backup plan was to go into history and become a museum curator, but it was just something to write down so I could finish the interview.
So you haven't actually like considered going back into that type of thing? So I know you've told me once that you did that as a part-time.
Yeah, during my grade 11 and 12 years, for the summer portion of the year, I worked at the local museum in Ashcroft, which actually, when I graduated with you, Wesley, I made my short film, a little snippet of a film I'd like to do about my hometown. As for whether or not I have considered going back into it, yeah, it crosses my mind every now and again, but more so I think I would like to be able to share history through film, because that's something that's kind of missing right now, especially with Canadian entertainment, is there's very little geared towards teaching Canadians about their history, especially when you're under the age of like 15. any stuff they do have is pretty dry and pretty boring. So, yeah, I think it'd be really neat to do a film series about Canadian history.
Yeah. No, well, I remember your short film. It was the little bird flew down, introduced Ashcroft, which was fully animated, right? It was classical.
Tradigital animation. It was all hand drawn, but it was all hand drawn on the computer. Got to cut out the business of scanning drawings and cleaning them up digitally anyway. So
okay,
yeah.
And then the second half of it was then cut out with
Harmony.
Yeah. And yeah, that was because I know nothing, obviously. I know a bit of stuff that you've introduced me to, but I don't really know that much about Canadian history. I'm still learning, and I found your presentation not only visually appealing, but because I mean, you know, you're a fantastic artist, but
thanks.
Just gonna throw that in there. But you know, I also thought your film was very interesting. You know, and like I think it could work really well. What do you have planned for that type of thing? Like, if to make more of those type of films, do you think you could get grants and stuff, or?
I'm looking into it.
Yeah.
There's still a lot to look into, but the National Film Board definitely has interest in Canadian content, and Canadian history is pretty Canadian, so so there's potential there. But I think at present I want to work in the industry for a few more years, develop my skills a bit more before I look into doing something that's fairly personal in a way. So
you do have goals to do short films
for sure
under the Regan Greenwood copyright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be all in for that because you know, if you need to hire an animator, right? You know, you got my card.
Yeah.
I know I'm having a hard time with those turnarounds, but I'll get there. Okay. Yeah. Well, what about then influences in the sense of like what cartoons? I mean, you mentioned Dumbo, or was it Bambi? Bambi. But obviously Disney was a big influence.
Disney was huge. I actually didn't watch many films that weren't Disney, oddly enough. Really huge into the talking animal things. I loved Bambi, Lady and the Tramp. Even though there was a lot of levels of Lady and the Tramp I didn't get as a kid. It's crazy, some of the stuff.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, when Lady comes back from the pound, her name has been tarnished.
I haven't watched this film in a while, so you'll have to...
Okay, well, Lady's hanging out with the tramp, and they start chasing chickens, which Lady knows is wrong, and she gets picked up and taken to the pound, and she's talking with all these essentially jailbirds. So once her owners call the shelter and they take her out, her name has been squandered. Like, she's less of a woman now. Yeah. So her two older friends, Jack and Rusty, I'm pretty sure that's the name of the bloodhound, they offer to marry her to save her name, which is a very old idea. Yeah. Like, that's very it even seems weird coming from the mid-century, honestly. But I guess it's based more at the turn of the century, that film. But yeah, never picked up on that as a kid, and I was rewatching it a couple years ago. It's like, holy smokes. That's some pretty deep stuff for family entertainment. But yeah, so there was Lady and the Tramp. Lilo and Stitch was huge growing up. I took that film to an obsessive level. I would talk like Stitch in school. Yeah. And I would draw Stitch, and I have a sketchbook. I've kept all my sketchbooks since I was 8. And they're just drawings of Stitch and Lilo and Stitch the series, and I would draw those characters, and that's actually something I would do a lot to try and develop. Is I would have a movie on, I'd pause it, I'd try to draw what I see, and then keep the movie going until I saw something else and say, oh, I want to try and draw that now. So
that's a good practice.
Yeah, But yeah, growing up, those were the biggest ones, I'd say.
Okay. In regards to Lilo and Stitch, did you obviously enjoyed the TV series as well? I mean,
yeah, I enjoyed it separate from the film because the characters were different. So
it was like that, right, with those tunes back then.
Yeah,
I mean, it was if you looked at like DuckTales, like even though the DuckTales movie and the TV series was also the same, it also felt like there was this little tinge of difference. You know,
yeah,
maybe it was the audio quality was just better, but it always felt like, I don't know. I felt that way with even like more sort of 90s or 2000s cartoons like Powerpuff Girls. Like
okay.
the movie felt disconnected from, you know, from the.
I didn't watch much Powerpuff Girls.
Well, I don't. I mean, I understand sort of the disconnect. You know,
yeah.
Oh, this is one thing, this is another.
Yeah, you can enjoy both, but as long as you don't make them the same thing, then you can enjoy it more. Because Stitch didn't act like Stitch.
Yeah.
In the series versus the movie, so.
Okay. Any particular artists that have inspired you along your way, other than Mr. Walt Disney?
Yeah, no, Walt Disney, I mean, he's not really a visual artist, like in the sense where he does a lot of drawing, but no, he was huge. He was a huge inspiration to me as a kid, just seeing how he basically lost his company a couple of times, but he kept going. That guy had a ton of moxie, and was really inspirational because he came from a small town as well. Aside from him, 9 Old Men, really loved Ward Kimball. He's still a huge influence to me, just the crazy animation and the fact that he was so different than his peers. Doug TenNapel, not an animator, but still, I love his stuff.
Yeah.
He's just got this really bizarre sense of humor that I appreciate a lot. And his creatures and the worlds he creates, I've got all but one of his books right now. But, yeah, he's huge. And there's one guy, gosh darn it, he's...
He's a big inspiration in my life. I just can't remember his name right now.
Yeah, I just can't remember his name. He's one of the 9 Old Men. And it's going to drive me nuts, because I should remember his name.
I can't remember any of the names right now. I'm also put on the spot. Yeah,
well, he did a lot of work for Milk Cow. Like, he emulated a lot of the style of Milk Cow, but he was such a nice guy. If you hear about Milk Cow, he's kind of a jerk, but this fellow was just very gentle, very sweet. John Lounsbury.
Okay.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I really like John Lounsbury.
Speaking of the 9 Old Men, did Charles Charles is our mutual lecturer at Van Arts, who hopefully one day I'll get onto this show. I really hope so.
Oh, that'd be a great
interview. I'm sure I can fill a few podcasts with him.
Oh, for sure.
Or a few episodes. But did he ever show you those books, the flip books of the 9 Old Men?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also bought them. It was.
Oh yeah. It was. By the way, you forgot to introduce the other person in the room with us right now.
Well, my significant other, Emily, is in the room. She's being a very silent bystander, but if you hear giggles, she just gave me a gasp when I said I had those books.
I want to see them now.
I'll share them with you.
Okay.
I'll interview her later. She's also an animator.
And she's also my roommate, so... Yeah.
And she's also very cute.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
You can't see the blushing right now, but you can just feel it in her voice.
Am I seriously?
That's gonna pop. Okay, so yeah, I know with also Doug TenNapel. Sorry, TenNapel. That's the South African accent coming on.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. TenNapel. Yeah, you've given me a lot of it. Well, three of his books. I enjoy his humor too. I think it's and I love his art style. It's fantastic. My problem with his storytelling, I don't know if you feel the same way, is like it sometimes feels disjointed and it doesn't carry, like, you know, he'll set something up in the world and then it doesn't follow later on. if you know what I mean. There's no continuity.
I don't get that.
You don't feel that way?
No.
Because, like, it was the one with the kid with the dinosaur.
Yeah, Tommysaurus.
Like, I don't know, there was something at a point, I'd have to read it again and then I could probably pinpoint it for, but there was like a point like towards the end of the story where I felt like, and there was also the one with the kid and his grandpa, the ghost.
Yes, yeah, Ghostopolis.
That one, yeah, sorry, I think it was Ghostopolis actually. That was, there was like a disconnect between the technology being used and then, or them being ghosts. There was like this rule that it affected the ghost but then it didn't. Like, I don't know, I felt that happen, and then like the third book you lent me, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, because I enjoy the story writing in the sense that it's like, listen, this is what I'm going to do, this is the story, I'm just going to free flow it forward, you know. It was almost like, he was almost doing, not post to pose, but what's the other one? Straight ahead, like, that's how he was writing his stories, you know, he's but I mean, you just said you don't feel the same way, so...
No.
No.
Sorry.
You're wrong.
I didn't say that, I just...
Wrong! Okay, well, anybody else that sort of guided your way? Not necessarily influences, but it could have been mom and dad.
Yeah, no, my folks were great. They were really supportive. I'm very fortunate in that they never said, oh, no, you can't do it. I mean, there was always, you should probably have a backup plan, but they were fantastic with supporting me and being encouraging. And I think of some of the drawings that I did, and I showed them. It's like, yeah, they were very, very encouraging. But, yeah, no, my folks were great. And in a weird way, I guess my friends were... I was this kind of weird kid where, I mean, I wasn't a social outcast. I hung out with a lot of people, but I didn't have close relationships with people my age. So, like, I could be hanging out and playing with people, but they were never very... I kept them at arm's length. So, the fact that I was kind of bad at developing these close relationships as a child meant that I would kind of get that closeness from characters and drawings that I'd make. It's this weird thing, but being able to express those stories and ideas through drawings was really huge to me growing up. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of another influence.
just life in general.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that is something huge, because I love nature and biology, and actually, if you look at any of my sketchbooks from high school, they're filled with drawings of skulls and muscle studies of animal faces and bodies, and yeah, I just love how nature knits the muscles and skin and organs together. It's just so
well,
cool.
Judging from all the little beasties in your room, sticks and what are those?
Axolotls.
Axolotls. Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
I've got a little mini zoo in here. I've got my stick bugs and my axolotls, and I've got waka the betta fish, some African dwarf frogs, and whatever feeder fish are in the axolotl tank. I don't remember offhand, but...
And then there's a T-Rex skull in the...
Yeah, but that's not a pet.
No, but I mean, like, is that real?
No, obviously. No!
I guess it wouldn't.
skull is like...
I don't know.
It's huge. It's not 1 foot long.
I'm sorry. That was a dumb question. I was just asking.
And if I had a T-Rex skull, I'm not going to put it in the axolotl tank of all places.
There's T-Rex skulls at the bottom of the ocean, I'm sure. Some giant dinosaur ate another giant dinosaur. I know, sorry. I was just asking. It could have been a baby T-Rex. The really baby T-Rex. I don't know. Yeah, so I guess because I mean that's one thing I've noticed in your style is like you're not influenced by pop culture, like, which I think is a good thing because I mean you're bringing something different to the table, right? It is like not a, I mean I can see like Tenaple influence, and I can see actually like those recent drawings you showed me the other day. Oh,
that was just me really playing with the style.
Yeah,
it's not my typical.
No, but I mean, it's like that. That's the closest I've seen to sort of like like a direct influence.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think if you don't get influenced by like pop culture exactly, like you can create something new that's not sort of stuck in that you know in the style of what's to be expected.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. But it's good, I think, the influence of the outside, really, versus the influence. Because, what's that name? Miyazaki in Japan, he was... I don't know if you ever saw the documentary we saw it with Charles, where he was talking to some of the newer animators, and he's like trying to this is about a dog, and they're like, oh, I don't have a dog, and it's like, you know, none of them have lived life to understand how to animate life. And I think, you know, like that shines through with yours, because I mean, you just said no, you like to see how nature knits together, right? You know, nature being an influence would also be on there, right?
I guess as a kid, I watched TV and movies and stuff, but I was not big on video games. I played a couple, but no, I would go fossil hunting, and I'd go searching around the hills. I remember breaking into an old drive-in theater with a friend of mine, and that was scary. We saw pack rats in there, and we went up to this little tower in the drive-in theater, and this dog was following us. We're like, okay. So we took the dog with us.
Of course.
And we get to the top of this tower, and we see pack rats. And I don't know if you've ever seen a pack rat, but they're like a foot long, sometimes bigger. And they hiss, and they stink, and they're scary, so we just ran out of there. And there was another time, I grew up in a desert, in a very small town, so basically parents could just let you out, and you could explore the town, and you were fine. No one was going to kidnap you, or the worst thing that would happen is you get eaten by a cougar or bitten by a rattlesnake.
Yeah, you know.
Maybe get bitten by a black widow, but they're not as venomous up here as they are in the States.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't even realize black widows had different levels of venom.
yeah. The more northern they get, the less venomous they seem to be. The Canadian varieties, they'll kill children and elders, but I mean, a healthy adult, it'll hurt a lot, but it won't kill you.
Is there any particular reason you think, nature-wise, why that is?
I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know it offhand.
I mean, would it be the prey just smaller here, or? I
guess there's just not as much need for high levels of venom. That's my guess. Like, I mean, you look at certain predator-prey relationships, and when an animal gets venomous, the prey eventually builds up an immunity to that venom. So the animal gets more and more toxic as the prey animal develops the immunity. But I generally don't know offhand.
Yeah. Okay, well, I was just checking. Okay, well, coming back to sort of your art style then, I know you've only really worked on one project, which is the
Pirate Express.
Yeah. But do you feel your style or is developing at all, as an animator? I mean, I know we're only going through this first stage and sort of developing our skills, but do you feel that something's changed, at least in sort of the way that you want to animate?
That's a hard question. Because,
that's what I'm here for, all those hard questions.
Yeah, you haven't asked a really hard one yet, actually.
What defines your soul?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm learning every day. You don't realize it. You don't realize that you're getting better and you're learning. And for me, I think I was telling you this earlier, I've never really had an aha moment. It's always just inching on. And yeah, I think for me, that's just kind of been how I learn, is you just keep going. And I mean, you start to notice problems in your work, so you focus on that area. And even if you don't feel like you've arrived yet, you'll look back to stuff you did several months ago and you'll see, oh yeah, no, I'm definitely better at that now. So I guess I've seen. I don't know where I want to go. I want to be kind of a jack of all trades. I don't just want to do cartoony. I also want to do very realistic creature animation, because that's one of the reasons why I have so many weird animals. Is I love watching their movements and seeing how they act and move and are driven by instinct versus people who are much more we tend to think through things a lot more than animals. Animals are much more like, okay, gotta get out of here now. So yeah, being able to emulate that in animation is really cool. So I'd like to have both styles, the really tech savory and Ward Kimball-y kind of animation on one hand, and then the very hyper-realistic Weta style animation on the other. So
okay, well, that's not a bad way to go. Any preferred again, this is such a weird question to ask, well, a very limited question to ask right now, because again, you've only got the one thing, but judging from again your short film, is there any particular style that you like right now in the way of animating?
Well, right now, it seems like the stuff I enjoy the most on Pirate Express is the really cartoony stuff, where I get to smear and morph and do crazy actions with characters. I always get yelled
at when I smear.
Hollis lets me do whatever I want. Hollis likes me. Hollis is my supervisor, by the way.
I try so hard. Nobody likes me.
Yeah.
I like you.
Thank you.
But yeah, I like doing the really goofy, cartoony stuff. But as soon as my current contract ends, I'm actually going to be focusing on some more realistic animation.
Can you say where you're going next?
Yeah, I'm going to Bardell.
Okay.
Afterwards. I don't know if the project has been announced yet, but I'm very excited to work on it. It's a fairly well-known property, and I am...
Not previously, because you have told me behind the scenes, but...
Yeah.
It wasn't owned by them before, right?
No, it wasn't owned by them before. It's... Bardell somehow got the rights to it. I don't know the ins and outs of it offhand, but yeah, no, it'll be a really fun thing to do.
Awesome. Okay, but yes, you were saying your cartoony style. Sorry to deviate from that. So going to Bardell now, you're going to be a lot. You feel you're going to be working on a bit more serious, less.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's much more traditional style animation. As in, it's much more the classical kind of sensibilities where you have full use of the principles of animation.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, it'll be very different and very challenging, and I'm very excited to grow from this.
Oh, I'm looking. Yeah, I mean, I know you don't like the praise, but I do think you're someone people should keep an eye on, because I feel no. You're a hard worker for one, and I mean you're not only naturally talented, but the hard working comes in, and you're talented via working hard. I'm gonna say the word work hard a lot, but yeah, and it's so I don't know. Like, I think if you keep pushing the way that you're going, I do see Regan Greenwood being a name that like how we use. Like Don Bluth or whatever, it's like, I'm not trying to don't stop working. I'm not trying to overbloat your ego, but I do feel that I could see that happening.
Okay. I'm not sure if it would be the same kind of circles. Like, I mean, maybe I could make a name for myself doing those little history films, but I have no desire to run a huge studio like Don Bluth.
Well, I mean, look at the Nine Old Men. Not all of them, ran their studios. They're
yeah, that's true.
I mean, like, as an animation, I'm trying to remember the name of that girl who does Bee and Puppy Cat. But you know what I'm talking about. That girl. Like, I mean, her name is already well known, obviously. And so I feel like, okay, because to be fair, in this day and age and how the internet works and everything, it'll be very difficult to sort of do what the old masters did and like you can get your name in the same way. I think it's gonna be...
Well, I mean, even with the old masters, I mean, once they became famous, it was very hard for other people to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, but with the internet as it is now, you have like famous people coming out like every month, you know, just in and out, you know, and sometimes they stay for longer, sometimes they just fade away.
Yeah.
But they tend to keep a sort of like they'll get this boost of fans and then sort of fade down again. Mm-hmm. I think that'll happen for you, and I like, but in a positive way, in the sense that, you know, you're not going to do the Andy Warhol 5-minute fame. I think, you know, because I mean, I don't know, from what I've seen, your work is really good, and the art's very nice, and I think you can attract a large fan base.
Okay.
And
thank you.
and you people who are listening should look at her art and stuff, and yes, you'll find her link at the end and on her character card. Cool. I have to get one of your character cards up later. Well, I'm gonna start getting into some more stuff. Favorites. Lots and lots of favorites, right? So your favorite, let's start off with something simple. Your favorite book. I know you read, but it doesn't necessarily have to be just a book. It can be a comic book. It can be both. You can tell me whatever the heck you want.
Well, I mean, I really enjoyed Rat Fist by Doug TenNapel.
I used to send me. That was the other one you sent me.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I pick up fairly frequently. If I'm talking about like novels, I actually don't read a lot of novels anymore. I used to be quite an avid reader when I was younger, being 20 years old.
Oh, back in the day.
Oh man, yeah, them kids and all that jazz.
Listening to their rap music.
Yeah.
With their iPods.
Yeah. MP3 players, man. I really enjoyed reading The Chrysalids and Brave New World. Those were a couple of books written years ago, but just something about the dystopian world, I suppose. They were both dystopias, but just seeing what authors thought mankind would become and trying to relate with these characters who have lived through so much and are fairly unrelatable in a lot of ways. I don't know, I enjoyed it.
You like the sort of loss of humanity in a... Yeah,
and I guess Catcher in the Rye was another one that was kind of like that too.
You didn't feel like killing John Lennon after that?
No, I didn't. Did you?
I mean, he was already dead, but... films. I mean, again, you mentioned your film influences earlier, but are there any other films, maybe even outside of animation, that you really, really like?
Recently I watched AI, and I really like that. Trying to think. I don't know, I mean, Mary Poppins is fun. Meet the Robinsons meant a lot to me when I was a young teenager.
That movie I felt didn't get as much praise as it should have.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, just going back to influences. Sinbad.
Oh.
Loved that movie so much. The DreamWorks animated version. Like, I mean, I hear a lot of negative press about it, but I loved that film. It was the first film I saw in theaters that I felt like I was on an adventure, because it plays out like a series of shorts that are... They do have this overlapping, or overarching plot, but you go on all these little mini adventures with the characters, and you just get sucked into that mini adventure, and then you realize, oh right, like there's this big thing they have to go do, and it, in a good way, it felt like the movie never ended. Like it just kept going, and I love that film. The CGI is kind of hard to watch now, but I remember seeing the sirens for the first time, and it was like this transparent water creature, and that was the coolest. I had never seen anything like that before. But I need to watch more movies, frankly.
My tummy gives the rumblies. It won't be picked up.
All that candy.
All that candy. I gotta keep this body maintained.
Candy and chips and cookies. Dinner of champions.
Of course. I had beans.
No wonder your stomach's growling.
Beans and beef that I made.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. Jeez, I haven't seen Sinbad in an age and a half.
I could have my nostalgia vision on, but that's one I loved a lot.
Oh yeah, I have that on occasion with movies. I remember with Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 80s, 90s cartoon. Like, I just remember having so much fun with that as a kid, and then like I rewatched just like one episode the other day, and I was like, no, I can't. Because there's also like, I didn't want to watch anymore. I wanted to watch it, but I knew if I watched anymore, I was going to ruin it for myself.
Yeah.
So, but I remember in my head there were adventures that I added, you know, like, or I'd make like in between stories for it, you know, and it was like, there was so much more fun to Ninja Turtles than I think that there is now. And I think maybe that's what happens with a lot of like older cartoons, especially when you're a kid, because then you go out and have adventures as those characters, right?
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
I'm going to
sure.
be this character. So it like builds up and you're like, all these amazing adventures, and you rewatch it, you're like, where are those amazing adventures that happened? Oh, I guess they didn't. Oh.
Yeah.
But at the same time, no, I did like Sinbad too. I wouldn't say it inspired me.
You're also significantly older than I am.
Significantly. I'm like 10 years older than you at max. Significantly.
That's a decade, man.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's 1/3 of life I have not lived.
For you.
For me.
I mean, at one stage it's going to be like, it's going to be like a drop in the pond.
Okay.
When I'm 70 and you're 60, I'll be like, okay, well, other favourites, TV shows. I know you don't watch a lot of TV, but is there anything in particular other than the Lilo and Stitch TV show?
Earthworm Jim. It's fun.
Oh, that was awesome. Earthworm Jim, a garden he did grow.
Oh gosh.
I love what's the little dog's name again?
Peter Puppy.
Peter Puppy.
Yeah. No, I loved Earthworm Jim.
This is a common theme in my podcast, by the way, because whenever I like refer something, like I hope the other person I'm talking to remembers it, because I consume so much TV.
Yeah.
I forget things, and it's like I know what they are, I know who they are, I know the picture in my head. I don't remember the name, but yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like Freakazoid as well. I like that.
Freakazoid.
Did Tenapel have any was Earthworm Jim and Tenapel like involved together in any way?
I'm sure. I mean, I don't know how much, but I mean, Tenapel pitches stuff. He did the pitch for Cat Scratch, and I don't remember how much he was involved in Project Geeker offhand, but I mean, he's involved. He's always pitching stuff. He's an insanely prolific guy. He's got video games in the works, and pitches in the works, and comic books in the works, and a family on top of it, and then he also raises amphibians. It's like, how do you balance all that?
I guess once you know what you're doing, maybe it just starts falling into place a bit better.
Yeah, I guess. But Doug Tenapel, look him up, he's a cool guy.
Well, isn't he working on a Neverhood thing?
It's not the Neverhood, it's Armacrog.
Okay,
it's
so
like
it's
the
like
spiritual
Neverhood,
successor to the Neverhood.
Is it a game or is it a movie?
It's a game.
Okay.
It's a point-and-click adventure game.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
There were so many back in the 90s. Now they're all dead.
Aw. Yeah.
My favourite one was Sam and Max Hit the Road, because it was voiced by the original. Like, I don't know if you ever watched the cartoon Sam and Max.
No, I haven't.
I never saw the old cartoon of Sam and Max, but was it the 90s? Yeah, late 90s it must have been. Like, there was a Sam and Max cartoon. I don't know why we're going off onto Sam and Max. It was awesome. I recommend you watch it. It's probably not as good as I remember it being, but it's like, you know, these two hard-boiled, air quotes, detectives who are like, they're freelance police.
Okay.
Okay, so like that's a thing, and they would go and do the police stuff that I guess other police won't do, but they're also detectives, and then they would solve like ridiculous crimes like Cthulhu breaking through the universe, or you know, like it's all the absurd stuff, ghosts and superpowered villains and all that stuff. I guess the stuff the cops couldn't handle or wouldn't want to do. And the point and click adventure was like what I loved about those old point and click adventures, especially the LucasArts stuff. So LucasArts used to make very good games, and like during that time they had a lot of fully animated like 2D point and click adventures. Like Day of the Tentacle was also another one that I really liked. And the cool thing about like that art style is it doesn't get outdated, because it's 2D drawings, right, that move around, and it's all great, but then everything went 3D. Darn kids in their 3D.
That's what I learned with before 2D, actually.
You darn kids. I was there in the console war of 1995.
The year after I was born.
The year. Hey, I was fighting for SNES, man.
Yeah. Just thinking about TV shows. This doesn't quite qualify as a TV show, but it was on TV. Walking with Dinosaurs. Loved that series. A lot.
So this is why you know the true size of a T-Rex skull, and I don't.
Yeah. Just because of Walking with Dinosaurs. No previous research at all.
I don't think I watched that. Wasn't that like an IMAX movie or something?
It is now.
Okay, so I guess that's what I saw.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I don't plan on seeing it until they remove the voices, but...
Oh, where the dinosaurs talk?
Yeah. They don't need that at all.
Yeah, they can just eat each other.
Yeah, like they're supposed to.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
Oh no.
I'm gonna add this on the character card, like just like written in like a crayon font,
right.
like favorite dinosaur.
Okay. Well, Spinosaurus.
Okay.
And that's a really cool dinosaur because just recently they found out it's the first semi-aquatic dinosaur.
Oh yeah, I read about that too.
Yeah. I mean, they were cool before and now they're cool still, but...
Now they can go on land and sea. Now if they could sprout wings, you'd be all over that.
They'll just flap that sail back and forth until
like a little helicopter thing. Or like, you know, like Da Vinci's helicopter? It pops up as a...
Yeah. Ultimate dinosaur.
Land, sea, and air.
But actually, more than dinosaurs, I really love pterosaurs.
Okay.
Yeah, Quetzalcoatlus is cool. Actually,
Where is Quetzalcoatlus, like, founded?
Where?
Yeah. Is it, like, sort of South America?
I think it's, like, the southern states, and I believe there is some evidence that they might have been around here, too. I don't remember offhand, so don't quote me on that.
You just recorded for all eternity on a podcast.
I know, my bad facts. My misinformed science.
The reason why I ask is because the Quetzalcoatl is it like a Mayan group?
Oh yeah, no. Quetzalcoatl is the feathered serpent deity of the Mayans.
Shot lightning, pew pew.
Yeah. That's a crazy story because it's kind of like a Jesus story.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like all
there's a lot of
ancients.
parallels. It's really interesting.
Well, not to get onto a religious thing, but you find that with a lot of religions, right? There tends to be a lot of parallels with each other. Mm-hmm. There's always like a savior. There's always a creator. There's always a mother. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, Regan's religious, by the way, folks. So if you want to send her hate mail at...
You didn't say which religion, so they can't specify.
I'm going to say it right now. Okay, so...
Yeah, no, I'm a Christian. Yeah.
I was going to boo, but then I thought like maybe better. Very light-hearted about it, at least, so that's fine. Yes, you were still saying about the TV show, so other than the dinosaurs...
Other than the dinosaurs.
Did you ever watch the Dinosaurs
I did.
TV show?
And I remember hating it as a kid.
What?
Because they didn't look like dinosaurs.
I think you're the first person I know that didn't like that show.
Okay, I had this...
sure they didn't look like dinosaurs.
I had this really weird thing when I was a kid, where if something was anatomically incorrect, it drove me nuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I could only accept things to a certain extent. like with Iago from Aladdin,
Yeah.
little parrot,
Yeah.
he only had 3 toes.
Okay.
And I hated that so much. Because parrots, they've got these weird feet where they've got 2 toes in the front and 2 toes in the back. And it's like a thumb kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they can grip on. But he only had the 1 toe in the back. And
Bad research.
I completely, as an animator, I completely understand why they chose to omit that 1 toe. It probably looked kind of weird too. But knowing how birds actually were and how these parrots actually worked drove me nuts as a kid. I couldn't deal with it. And same thing with a lot of cartoon characters like Ren and Stimpy. I really appreciate that show for what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, that was not a cat and a dog. I don't know what they were, but they were not a cat and a dog.
I
hated it.
knew Ren was a dog. I didn't know what Stimpy was.
He's a Manx cat.
Yeah, but I didn't know for like the longest
Okay.
time until one day I was like watching it again because it was rerunning, and I was like, "Oh, it's a cat and a dog." Okay, and then it's like, I mean, nothing clicked. It was just like, "Oh, I guess that's what it is." I'm gonna continue watching them do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I love the hyper realistic detail stuff that they would do with that, just to
That
be gross.
show freaked me out as a kid.
Oh man.
Like I haven't seen the episode, but I still remember this thing where Ren fell asleep and he got like eye crusties, like the sand in his eyes, and Stimpy had to take like a jackhammer or something to open his eyes. And I was like 4 or 5 when I saw that, so I totally bought it. I thought that could happen. So for about a month, I would wake up in the middle of the night, go wash my eyes, and then go back to sleep because I didn't want my parents to have to chisel my eyes open.
Oh man, jeez, I can't even relate to that. I mean, I did that. Like, because the thing is, like, whenever I had a conversation with my dad about cartoons, right? I'm like, Dad, wouldn't it be funny if this really happened? And my dad's answers were always the same. It's like, it can't happen. That's in cartoons. Cartoons aren't real. You know, like, so very matter of factly. And I'm like, look, I know I'm young. I know I'm stupid, but I know cartoons aren't real. Like.
Yeah.
I would just think it's funny. Like, I would see the absurdity.
Okay, I was 4 or 5.
Yep,
Just saying.
But the thing is, it's like I don't remember ever watching a cartoon and being fearful that was going to happen to me. Like even at a younger age. Like
yeah, no, man, 90s cartoons really confused me. Yeah, there's I don't remember what show it was, but there was these 2 characters and they were trying to get steak from a cow. And they were doing all these chores for the cow, and how the cow would give them steak is she would like grab her side and she'd slice a piece of her thigh off and hand it to them. And I did not know how to compute that as a child. See, I don't know.
It's not anatomically correct, Mom. Start yelling at the screen.
Pretty much. But yeah, on that note, I can't think of any more favorite TV shows.
Fair enough. Well, I was going to then ask you your favorite cartoons, but I think you pretty much wrapped that up too. Then what about video games? I think I might know, but...
I didn't play a lot of video games. I'm very good at starting video games. And I'll play them for like a day, and then I'll get bored.
You're part of the modern gaming generation. You should see people's Steam accounts. It's like, I'll buy $1 million worth of games.
No, see, that's the thing. Like, when I was in high school and everyone was getting DSs, I went and bought everyone's Game Boy games for like $1 because no one wanted them anymore. They weren't the new thing.
These people are stupid.
Yeah, no, I've got like this collection of Game Boy games that I've never played, and I spent like $10 on all these games.
I'll give you $20 for all these games. I'll give you $50.
No way.
I'll give you...
I don't know where they are.
Oh, no,
so.
I was gonna go for like $200, and you're like, okay.
Well, I mean, if I find them, I will definitely take $200 for them. But as far as video games I have played, I played Kingdom Hearts because I liked Disney. It really annoyed me whenever the Final Fantasy characters showed up. It's like, why are you here? I want to play the Disney game.
You're the first person from that perspective, because every time, like, I'm not kidding, it's like, I remember when it first came out, and like, that's what allured me was the Final Fantasy characters, because I was like, I was walking in this big game warehouse. It wasn't a game warehouse, it was like an electronics store, and there's a PlayStation 2 up on demo, and I saw I think I saw Squall, who's known as Leon in the show, in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I haven't heard of this. Why is Leon, like, Squall in a different game? And then I saw the thing playing, and then I was like, okay, so I left and I came back, and then they were like, somebody I guess had reset the game, and they were playing on the island where, you know, there's Tidus and Waka and, you know, all the Final Fantasy X characters, but they're kids. And I'm like, what is this? And so I started playing it, like just the demo, but I didn't get very far. And I really wanted to get into it. So I honestly bought a PlayStation 2 for that game. It was like, I mean, I played a lot of games on the PlayStation 2, but that's what drove me to get the PlayStation 2. And every time I tell people, play Kingdom Hearts, I think it's a really good game. It's a lot of fun. It's a good story. I mean, the combat, whatever. But it's a lot of fun. And they were always like, yeah, I would play that game if it wasn't for the Disney characters. And I'm like, firstly, fuck you. I mean, it's like the characters are so well written into that. I mean, they're still the Disney characters, but they're written into sort of a darker sort of JRPG setting. But yeah, you're the first person no, I don't want the Square Enix characters in there. And I suppose you do get them on your side, but they play such a little role. They're there for a second and then...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't even like the look of the... I don't like anime. I think we've been through this.
Yeah.
But I don't like the look of it.
Please tell the world. Tell the internet how you don't like anime. I'm sure this will go down well.
But yeah, so I didn't like the design of the characters. It's like, eh. Well, I liked everything but their faces. I didn't like their faces, but that's... And
so, even now, still, you're not really...
No, even now, I'm just like, oh. And their hair. It's like, why is it so big?
Oh, that anatomical correctness.
All that gel that has to go in there,
That's what allured me to but I do wonder, the first guy who, designed, a really crazy anime hairstyle, because the faces are pretty samey for the most part, right?
Yeah.
So it's you just sort of take the hair off and everyone's got the same face, but who was it I'm gonna design a star, and then it's it's
yeah.
And then after that it was that's how characters are now defined, is pretty much by their hairstyle.
Their hairstyles.
I mean, it has, depending on I suppose depending on the quality of the show, I have seen some where they have more character facial features and stuff, bigger lips or crazy nose. I love when they represent Americans and they're a little bit fatter, and then they got these weird lips,
Okay.
It's or it's always like white people are so big in these anime, it's this square head and these big arms and shoulders, and you're like, that's who is this?
Yeah.
And that's how they see us, right?
Well, I mean, that being said, most of my friends who are Asian are just these wafy little women, and very slender, very slim, and then here I am, I'm like, I'm all meat and
all meat. Get out of my way, Asian. They're just flying.
Oh gosh. As Wesley beats up his girlfriend.
I didn't beat her up. Let's just make sure the internet understands. I don't want Tumblr coming after me. I did not hit her on purpose.
It's fine.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. No, it's fine. I didn't even hurt.
Oh man, the first week I was in Vancouver, I didn't realize that I'm actually somewhat taller than the average woman in British Columbia, because all my friends where I'm from, I was the shortest. Because my friends, Christina and Jenny and Rochelle, they're all 5'8". Rochelle was 6 foot. So I'm from the mindset where, I'm actually kind of a shorter woman. But I'm walking down the streets, first week of moving to Vancouver from Ashcroft, and I smack square into this little old Asian lady. Or not old, she was middle-aged. But... oh, did she tear a chunk out of me. She was so mad, because I'm used to looking up. I never have to look down. And she boosh right in the chest. Yeah. And I've looked down since.
Starts yelling at you.
Yeah. I make sure to look at my feet before I look up. But
yeah, I've developed pretty good peripheral vision for the sake of not bumping into people and things in general. So I can't always look down because then I bump my head, and I can't always look up because I'll bump into people.
Yeah.
So, I have to look this way, and then I look here. This is where I'm looking most of the time. I'm indicating, I'm doing a visual representation on an audio. If you understand what peripherals are, that's where I'm looking. I'm not looking ahead. I can't say I've bumped into many. I will say Asian ladies are rude.
They're scary.
Like, I mean, I'm standing in a bus line. Like, I'm getting on the bus, and they just push me out the way.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, I'm getting on the bus. I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is a thing that's happening.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think this is appropriate for the interwebs right now. But
Asian ladies are crazy, man.
Cut it in post.
Yeah, I'll take it out later.
Yeah.
They push me out the way. It could be old people in general. I remember back home, like, the older people were also like, I'm older than you, I'm just gonna just get out my way,
yeah.
and then I'm gonna do my thing. And I'm like whatever initially, but when it happens a few times I eventually get annoyed.
Yeah.
Anyway, favorite. Okay, we did ask you favorite video game.
Yeah, just
Kingdom Hearts.
Getting back on, well, actually just getting back onto the video game thing. After Kingdom Hearts came out and I was annoyed with the Square Enix characters being in there, and I wasn't all that crazy about the main characters either. Like, basically, I just wanted the Disney game. So when Epic Mickey came out, I'm like, yes! This is for me! I loved Epic Mickey, because there are so many little geeky references in there. It was fantastic. And when that game came out, I had gone to Disneyland earlier that year. My grandma took a bunch of us there, and that was amazing, because we'd never been on a big vacation before. So, yeah, I'm playing Epic Mickey. It's like, I know what that's from! I was at the theme park not that long ago. Oh yeah, that's from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no, it was... I'm gonna say Epic Mickey is my favorite game, because there was so many little snippets for nerdy folks who like Disney games.
Yeah, I picked up a couple of things from that, but I guess stuff like... I've never been to Disney World. I've been to Disneyland in Paris.
Okay.
But... I don't know, I don't recall... I just remember going on rides. It just felt like a sort of a standard theme park with some Disney flourishes here and there.
Oh, well, I mean...
Also, I think it might have been a closed weekend or something. So
I also love history. So when we went to Disneyland, I had already done research on all the rides. I knew when they were made. I knew why they were made. I knew what was going on. Like, my parents are saints because they put up with this very eccentric woman growing up. But, yeah, no, I mean, I was telling them all about the Tiki Room, and I love the Tiki Room because of the animatronics and the robot kind of stuff. And so when I went to Disneyland, I was appreciating a lot of the history as opposed to just the rides themselves.
Yeah.
Like, something really cool about when you go to the Disneyland theme park, this is kind of a well-known thing, but there's the fire hall, which is kind of like a lost and found area. But on the second floor of that, you'll see what's like a little Victorian apartment, and that's actually where Walt Disney himself would stay when he would visit the theme park. He had his own apartment there, and you can actually take tours and stuff there. I'm really regretting that I didn't spend the extra $40 to go do that, or I think it might have been more than that, but I didn't go do that, and I kind of regret it. But they've still got
more opportunities. I'd love to go to Disneyland at some point.
And they've still got a lamp on in there to signify Disney's presence still being in the in the theme park.
Spooky scary.
Spooky scary.
Does he haunt the Haunted Mansion?
I haven't heard about that.
I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know. What do you think of the thing about Disney's head frozen?
I think that's Ward Kimball who started that.
Really?
Actually.
Like, I don't know who started it. It was just always a thing.
I've heard that it's Ward Kimball, but I don't know for certain. But I wouldn't put it past him.
Going back to Kingdom Hearts, did you unlock all the summons? Because I can't remember which one it was, but there was one of the summons you could unlock that was Stitch.
Yes.
And then he would like climb on the screen and lick the screen and then shoot lasers at people. I
actually don't remember using the summons all that much.
They become very important to use like at the later boss, especially the bonus boss fights.
Well, yeah,
they're like tough.
Yeah, I don't remember the bonus boss fights much. But
Did you play number 2?
I did.
Did you get to the part where Goofy quote dies?
Last time I played these, I was like 12, so.
No, I just remember I felt like I was like, it was such a great moment, and then like, I'm not saying every character's got to die, but like when a video game character dies, it's like it's always such a moment, because I mean you grow with that character, right?
Yeah.
And then like Goofy gets belted in the head with this giant meteor rock thing. You know, I mean, he's obviously suffered worse through the thing, but for the sake of the story. And then Donald goes all AWOL and like crazy and wants to kill everybody because he's upset that his friend just died.
Yeah.
And that's how they sort of played off. It's like, oh, Goofy's died, I guess, and he's your partner. Like, you gotta have Donald and Goofy. And then it's like you walk down the hill, fight off a bunch of like these Heartless, and then at the end it's like, oh, hi guys, it was okay, just hit my head. And it's like, this is such an important part in the story, and you just sort of brush it off as a like getting hit in the head joke. Like, I was like, I didn't want Goofy dead, but I felt the story could have benefited from him dying. Like,
I don't think that would have.
Disney wouldn't have allowed it, obviously.
Yeah, no, you can't just kill Goofy.
Yeah, but you know, like there were other characters. I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy both those games. All the games with their weird iterations.
Yeah, I tried playing the Game Boy one, but...
Which one is like...
The Game Boy. The one for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, the, Shattered Memories?
Yeah, something like that.
Because there's so many,
Well,
there's like 20 games, but number 3 is only coming out now. Like...
Okay. No, there's like a lot for the DS, I know, but, no, I never got through the Game Boy one.
But that was a really hard and I felt really badly made one.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, and then the DS ones, like they had like weird names, like I don't know, all the sort of the spin-offs had like weird names. Like you got 378 by 2 days.
Yeah.
And then Both by Sleep on the PSP. It's like, what does this mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
And that's not the only time Square Enix has done that. There's a game called Theater Rhythm, like theater and rhythm, but like sort of merged together. And then one of their Dissidia games, like Dissidia already is a weird name, and then the second version of Dissidia is called Duodecisium.
Okay.
I don't know what, like, did they find like a Latin book and then throw some Latin words against a dartboard and then throw darts at the dartboard and then like that's what we're gonna, I don't know.
Je ne sais pas.
Yeah, sure. Alright, Regan, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Well,
tell these fine folks where they can see your beautiful art.
Oh gosh. Well, you can look at my Tumblr, I guess. I am very bad for updating, but that's because I'm working.
Of course.
Do I actually read out the URL?
That's, yeah.
Okay.
But I'll put it on the website as well.
Alright, well, it's https...
//
Yeah.
I'm from 1998. Just www is fine.
Yeah, www.tumblr.com/blog/Regan Greenwood.
Okay, well there you go. And you can
ReganGreenwood.tumblr.com is probably easier.
Okay.
ReganGreenwood.tumblr.com.
That's how Tumblr works.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Emily knows better than me. I just copied my URL and stuck it on my phone so I would remember.
Emily knows all the Tumblr stuff.
Yeah, Emily is the Tumblr god.
Goddess, excuse me.
I spend too much time on Tumblr, that's the point.
I think that's the problem with a lot of Tumblr people. Yeah, I would recommend everybody go look at her stuff. It's good stuff.
Well, thank you.
You should probably scan in your sketches then and start, No?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really should spend more time developing my art, but lately it's just been like animation. Gotta meet the deadlines.
I'm so bad lately.
Do the good animation.
I haven't drawn in my sketchbook in a while, and like, I mean, I draw on my computer a lot, but like I get home and it's like 10, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna play a game for an hour and then go to bed. Like I just want to relax a bit and. And that's what I've been doing. Because I can't draw on the bus. I can't. I get sick.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. And then if you want to visit my websites for the Animators stuff, anonymators.tumblr.com, you can find Regan's character card and everything on there. And then if you want to email me to, ask questions, correct me on stupid things I've said, or if you want to show up on the show, or... just say hi, because I'm kind of lonely.
Excuse me.
You tell him.
theanonymousanimators@gmail.com. You can contact me there, send information. Maybe if you want a repeat guest, because, I'm sure there's some. Alright, Regan, you can sign us off, because that seems to be a thing that all my past guests have done.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, goodbye.